Welcome back. All right, so some news of the day for all you fine people. Not even NHL news. Look at that. So, Michael Misa applied for exceptional status. Exceptional status means he can enter the OHL draft as a 15-year-old, and it's been granted. So it's not granted that often. John Tavares, Aaron Ekblad, Connor McDavid, Shane Wright, all star players. Shane Wright projects to be a star player. And then Sean Day is the curious one. Sean Day is the one that was going to be this phenomenon on the blue line, and it just never panned out. So those are the others who got exceptional status. So get ready for the hype train around him, and we'll see where he ends up. We'll see what kind of totals he puts up as soon as next year. And again, the hype train will be it's going to be pretty loud around this kid. I do believe. I think he broke Connor McDavid records. So we'll see, right? All right. Boston College coach Jerry York has announced his retirement. Felt it was time to move on. 76 years of age. Coached for 50 years, the most recent 28 years being at Boston College. 5 NCAA titles in his 50-year coaching career. He had titles at Boston College in 2001, 2008, 2010, and 2012, as well as leading Bowling Green to an NCAA title in 1984. So, pretty successful career. He's already in the Hockey Hall of Fame. And so wishing Jerry York all the best, saying he's moving on to the next chapter for himself. Which, at 76, retirement's good. Retirement's fine. And wishing him all the best. And we'll see whether or not his records stand for good. And some records do. So it's possible that we won't see another coach in the NCAA stick around quite so long or get so many wins. There you go. Toronto news with the roster for tonight. Simmons and Muzzin are both in. And Justin Hall's a healthy scratch. Spets is likely scratched as well. It is interesting with Hall because, of course, there were discussions around him around deadline time and whether or not, there might be another move on the blue line. Ultimately, they moved Travis Dermott. Decided to keep Hall around. But I do wonder if Hall does end up being the extra guy. What is the plan for him going into next year? But having Simmons and Muzzin back, that's going to add some grit, a few hits to that lineup for them in tonight's game. So we'll see how that goes for them. Matthew Joseph out with injury for the Ottawa Senators. So the Sens have Parker Kelly on the top line, at least at practice, with Tkachuk and Norris. Tkachuk Norris. Love that. Anyways, but yeah, I'm glad to see Parker Kelly getting this opportunity. Hard worker, good player. I don't know how much offensive upside's there, but he'll get a chance to play on the top line, and we'll see. But for Ottawa, one of the many teams below the playoff line, testing guys out, moving players around, and trying to figure out what they're going to do going into next year. Parker Kelly getting time on that first line, even if it doesn't last the whole game, if the lines get switched out by Smith, Coach DJ Smith at some point. Give it a shot. We'll see what happens. Mark Scheifele is not on the road with the Winnipeg Jets. They play tomorrow. Wheeler will play tomorrow. So without Scheifele, getting Wheeler back is good, but they're going to need all the help they can get tomorrow night. And so we'll see how things go for Winnipeg. Their playoff hopes are just hanging by a thread. I was reading an article today, too, about the Canucks and how their playoff hopes are really pretty much dashed at this point. But hey, they could always target LA, right? They could always try to catch them. And we'll see how all that turns out. But yeah, Winnipeg, of course, tomorrow will be trying to keep their playoff hopes alive and hoping that Dallas loses, Vegas loses, Vancouver loses, this kind of thing. They need other teams to lose. They need help elsewhere for them to really get back into contention. So there are some clinching scenarios for tonight, and I'm avoiding the really complicated ones. Boston could clinch tonight, sure. But there are some simple ones. 1 point tonight for Calgary clinches them a playoff spot. So that would get them to 100 points even, and it would clinch them a spot in the playoffs. They are very close to, I think, clinching the division as well. Colorado can clinch the division tonight if 3 or 4 different things happen. Pittsburgh can clinch their spot if they defeat the Islanders in any fashion tonight. So it's no longer just a regulation win. Any win tonight by Pittsburgh, and they've clinched themselves a playoff spot. And for Tampa, there are a few other scenarios as well, but I'm going to keep this simple. If they beat Anaheim in any fashion, they're in the playoffs. So there you go. The playoff picture in the East has been clear for months now, but we're starting to see these teams clinch. And yeah, the 8 above the playoff line, then it's a matter of who finishes where and plays off against who. So, all right, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And of course, I know the Winter Classic's on January 2nd, not July 2nd. I am sorry I misspoke. These things happen. It's kind of a hair-raising week, so it happens. All right, thank you guys so much, though, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.